Hello my YouTube friends, and welcome to another episode of JC Bass Fishing. Today I'm going to talk to you about how to fish the summertime ledges and how to fish the brush piles. What you're going to see in this video, we went out to two different lakes. We went up to West Point Lake, and we also went down to Lake Eufaula. And what we did is, in those 2 days, we fished ledges and we fish brush piles, and we use different type of lures in order to see what the fish were really more aggressive. They were biting more aggressively. So stay tuned so you can watch this video. All right, my friends, so I hope you enjoyed that video and those catches that we showed you in this video. As you noticed, we were fishing deep water, and when I say deep water, I'm talking about 15-20 feet for the ledges, and we were down between 20 to 30 feet on the brush piles. Fish were moving a lot, so we had a lot of fish moving around the 10 to 15 feet water depth, and we had to use different type of lures in order to catch those fish. However, the ones that were in the ledges and the ones that were in the brush piles, we use two tactics. We use moving baits, and we also use baits that were either dragging or we were hopping around the ledges or the brush piles. When you're fishing brush piles, you know, it's gonna happen. Sometimes you're gonna get all hung up, and sometimes you get your lures out and sometimes you don't. You're gonna break off, so you got no choice but to tie something else and go back at it. But just let me show you the lures that we were using to catch this fish, so I don't make this video too long and you guys enjoy it. So one of the lures that you notice on the video, and you can basically see it right there, I was using a 6XD citrus shad on a Enigma E-Glass 7, I think it's 711, yeah, 711 medium heavy rod. And this rod is long enough to make a very, very long cast. The reel I was using this reel, right, I think it's a Skeet Reese, because I use this reel because it's got a low cranking ratio. It's 5:3:1, and I didn't want to use the ones that I normally use, which is the Arden, because they have the Arden, the lowest they have is 6:3:1, and I wanted something that I can crank it naturally, and I didn't have to slow down too much or slow or fast and stop. I just wanted something that I can crank normal at a normal speed and look like an actual shad moving in the water and bumping the bottom. So I was able to do that with this one, and the fish were hitting it, and they were hitting it hard. So this one worked very well, catching them and the ledges. The next one that I'm going to show you is going to be the normal Texas rig setup with a plum or a plum apple 10.5 worm. I use 3/8 ounce weight, and I use my normal Ardent reels. 6:3:1 is 6:5:1 is the ratio on this one, and it is an Apex Elite, and the Enigma rod. These ones are the Aaron's Edge, Aaron Martins, and this one is a 7.3 medium heavy. And we just cast out there to the brush piles and the ledges, and just drag it in the bottom to entice them to give us a good bite. The other one that we use we were using jigs, and this one right here is an Elk River jig in a green pumpkin with a green pumpkin and red flake trailer, and this is a Aaron's Edge 7.3 heavy fast with an Arden 7:3:1 ratio reel and braid, vicious line braid. I used 30 pound on this one. I wasn't using anything heavy. So I was casting this one to the ledges and to the brush piles, and I was hopping it. I was not really dragging it. I was more like hopping it, so it looked more like a crow moving around. And they were also biting this one. They didn't bite this one as much as they bit the crankbait, and this next one that I'm gonna show you, which they were hitting this one pretty hard too. And this one was a swing bait, and we used the Megabass Spark Shad. I think this one is the 4-inch on a 1/4 ounce jig head with a Enigma HPT 7 medium heavy and a Arden Wire 2000 with a 15-pound braid and 10-pound leader fluorocarbon from Vicious. And what we were doing, we were just casting this out there to the fish that were moving at between 10-15 feet, counted it down to their depth, and then reeling it back. And since they were moving and they were feeding, as soon as you cast it out there, you count it down to their depth, and then you start reeling it back slow, and you just hook them up right there. Last one I'm going to show you is a heavy shaky head with a Zoom monster straight tail worm. This one is a green pumpkin. I was using green pumpkin. I was using plum, and the reel is a Ardent 7:3:1 ratio with a 17-pound fluorocarbon Vicious line and an Enigma Phantom Series 7.3 medium heavy. And this one I was also doing both. I was hopping the shaky head and then just leaving it there, or I was dragging it, and I was getting a lot of bites on this one too. As a matter of fact, I believe if you seen the notice in the video, the biggest fish that I caught on that day, which was a 4-pound fish, I caught it on a heavy shaky head. So those were the lures that we were fishing, and the action that we were getting from the fish. As you notice in the video, when we fished West Point, it was very sunny outside, so the fish were a lot more active. And when it came down to catching them in the brush piles, they were more active. So we used more moving baits like the crankbait and stuff like that for them. Now when we went down to Lake Eufaula, we had a lot of cloud, and it was clear, but we had some clouds. And then later in the afternoon it started getting dark, and as a matter of fact we got some rain on the way out. But we were able to use both. We were fishing, we were catching them on a crankbait, but when the bite died, we'll casting there something slow like the Texas rig or the heavy shaky head or the jig, and then just drag it back or hop it very slow, and then they were biting. So so that's what happened. That's what you saw in those videos. I hope that can help you a little bit and assist you when you go down to fish this summer. Make sure that you subscribe down in the bottom, and make sure that you hit that bell so you can watch more videos. And go ahead and copy and share this video with your friends so you can share what we were able to do. Have a good time, guys. Have a great day. See you later. Tight lines.